Hi, beautiful friends. Here we are with chapter 9, vulnerability. Being vulnerable has never come easy to me. For most of my life, I had the belief if I am vulnerable, I will be rejected. If I am all of me, I will be rejected. This fear of vulnerability has kept me from experiencing true intimacy and deep soul level connections in romantic partnerships. For a majority of my life, I have fought some of the most difficult battles alone. I would never think to burden others with my challenges or struggles. I thought it made me stronger somehow. If there was one thing I've learned over the last few years is that vulnerability is what opens the door to deep and meaningful connections. I spent far too many years struggling alone, hiding from the root cause of why I was doing the things I was doing, in the relationships I was in the jobs I was in, receiving the degrees I received, living where I was living, you name it. I was on autopilot, going through the motions, living life by happenstance instead of with intention, purpose, and joy, which are all our birthrights. Vulnerability means really letting someone in. It means being okay if they walk away. It means detaching from the outcome and enjoying it for what it is. We can't control tomorrow. We can't control other people. We can't force someone into staying or control how life unravels. We have to have faith, hope, and trust that all is happening as it is meant to happen. I have this need to fixate and control. I have this deep fear of being left. The truth is, I can never truly be alone if I go within. If I go back home to the heart within myself that knows I'm worthy, that knows I'm lovable, that knows I am enough. Screw the voice that says love is pain. Love is not pain. Screw the voice that says I'm inadequate. When you're vulnerable, you give other people permission to be themselves. The one thing we all crave and yearn for is to love and be loved, yet it is the one thing that we are most afraid of. Vulnerability is the gateway to true and everlasting love for oneself and for others. I love to sing my heart out. I love to dance. I love to laugh. I love talking in different accents. These are all things I shut myself off from for years in fear of being judged, ridiculed, or told that I wasn't good enough. From a young age, I was not afraid to stand up in a crowd and sing and speak, but somewhere along the way, I lost my voice. I closed myself off from vulnerability and true expression. We're conditioned to think, act, and feel a certain way, and one day we wake up and we say, but wait, I know I did. I feel like an imposter in my own life. The journey only goes up from that point on. Vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is power. Allow yourself to be vulnerable, even in the face of fear. The work of healing is to truly come into your own power, which is partnered with vulnerability. They are one and the same. I have been hiding. I have been afraid to step fully into my power as a leader. I have been afraid of being the annoying girl on Insta stories again, the girl that's too loud, too bold, too soulful. Not anymore. I'm declaring to all of you that I am done hiding, in hopes that it encourages you to do the same, to start the podcast, to write the book, to do the live, to start the business, to take the trip, to say I love you. True connection happens through vulnerability. Part of vulnerability is being seen, fully seen for all that you are. Because we are not only doing ourselves a disservice by keeping our gifts from the world, we are doing a disservice to all of those out there just waiting for us, for you, for your story, for your courage, for your bravery, to inspire them to do the same. I'm showing up every single day, not for me, but for you, for the greater good, for a purpose so much larger than myself. I went to an event in Boston last summer, August 2018, called Wanderlust. And I'll never forget one of the yoga instructors who had us all circle in really close and close our eyes and ask the questions, what are you most afraid of? And without much hesitation, more than half screamed out loud, love. I thought to myself in that moment, the one thing we want most in the world is to love and be loved. Most of us, but it's the one thing we are most afraid of. Tell me how that works. I knew in my heart I was afraid of love, not because I didn't have so much love to give, but because I was afraid to be vulnerable. Most of my life, I was afraid of being abandoned by those I loved the most, as I had experienced tremendous loss in my life. I also suffered from abandonment because I didn't grow up with my biological mother, and that was a struggle for me for many, many years. I just couldn't quite wrap my head around it, and it made me ultra nervous about letting my walls down and truly letting people into my heart. I just figured if they're going to leave anyway, why not just sabotage it before it even gets to that point, so I can always leave before I am left and protect myself from being left. Yet, this kept me feeling more empty and more empty each time another relationship that I knew wouldn't last, that I knew wouldn't last, or where I knew I cared just a little bit less than the guy that I would have the control to leave. What kind of way is that to live? Desiring love and true connection so bad, but never fully allowing myself to be vulnerable? Without vulnerability, you cannot express true connection. Yet I was more focused on how to self-preserve and ensure I wouldn't get hurt that I completely blocked real love and true connection from my life. I do this romantically and with friendships as well. I never let anyone in close enough where they could turn around and leave or hurt me or expose me.